15% say they wish they could have this superpower. Is it saying no without explaining, reading minds, or teleport? We'll see if you agree with the number of the day. Keller wasn't quite sure if God was working in her life. But what she saw on the side of the road, leaving work early, changed everything. It might make you smile too. How to put your closet on a diet. It's a way to level up your life. And something interesting you may have never noticed from the first story in the Bible, the Garden of Eden. It's your Daily Joy Scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is
15% of people say they wish they could do this. It is read minds. I guess we want to all be superheroes at some point, but maybe you've got a superhero in your life that you say, Andy, they might not be able to read minds or fly or do anything like that, but they are a hero in my heart because they have made a huge difference. Who's your superhero?
My superhero would be my husband. He did an amazing job last week taking care of our 6-month-old daughter by himself for the whole week. I was working all week, and my husband has a job flexible enough that he actually had the week off at a time. So he took care of my daughter the entire week with no arguments and no situations. He did awesome. I was so proud of him.
And I know she was too young to appreciate it, but as the dad of an 8-year-old daughter, every moment that he gets with her is going to be so special to both of them. Why is your mom your superhero?
She has 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy. My parents are divorced, so she raised us pretty much on her own. And she's always been there for us. And as adult children, she had stage 4 ovarian cancer, and then she had open heart surgery. I think it was 8 years after that. But she always was there for us. She could have been going through her chemo treatment, and she's like, what do you guys need? And it's like, really, Mom, what do you need? And she's just always there for us and always has a positive attitude. And she never says no, and she never says that she can't do something. So she's instilled that in us, and she's got 4 great kids because of it.
It sounds like she modeled that servant spirit that Jesus wants us to have your entire life. And now it's helping you live for Jesus too.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
Maybe you're having one of those days where you're questioning God. Are you involved in my life? Keller was kind of having doubts like that. She's a teacher one day, and she just thought, I just need to leave. So she left a little early. It was a good thing she did, because as she was driving home, she saw this young kid riding his bike on the side of the highway. And she turned around to check on him, and she realized, I had him in school. His name was Cameron. And Cameron is just in a full-blown panic because his dad had a diabetic episode. He needs paramedics to help him out. And Cameron couldn't unlock his dad's phone to call 911. Keller says, well, let's get a hold of the police and the paramedics. And so they do. They go to their house, and Cameron's dad is going to make a full recovery. He's going to make it. And it's all because of this teacher that on a tough day decided to look outside herself and make a difference. And Keller says, there's no doubt in my mind, no doubt that God placed me where he did when he needed me. Remember that guy, Bob Ross, big old fro, would always want you to paint happy trees? Well, he said this one time, that we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Just goes to show that you may feel like a mistake, but God will paint you into a masterpiece.
You are awesome.
They take care of the things most people just walk right past. They help keep your schools and buildings healthy, and they make the places you go feel clean and cared for. So if you are a janitor,
You are awesome.
how to put your clothes closet on a diet, here's a way to level up your life. Turn all your hangers the other way in your closet. Now, when you wear anything, put it back to normal. And in a few months, anything still backwards? Those are the things you know you don't wear. A teacher spends most of her year helping homeless children, but every summer, Stacy becomes someone else. She hops on a 3-wheel ice cream cart and turns into Mrs. Delicious. But this whole thing started because of heartbreak. After Stacy lost her 91-year-old great aunt, she said she needed to find light in the middle of grief. So she started finding ways to bring joy to people. Then, one day, a man brought joy to her by buying a few cones and saying, give them to someone else. And for the last several summers, people have been paying it forward through Mrs. Delicious, buying treats for strangers they'll never even meet. The religious people of Jesus' time had 613 different rules that they tried to obey in order to be pleasing to God. Of course, they failed every single day. Then Jesus comes and he tells these same people, he says, you try to keep those rules, but that's not enough. The best thing about the Bible is you can read a story 1,000 times and think you know it, but then someone comes up with an angle you go, I cannot believe I hadn't thought about that. So here's a pastor talking about the Garden of Eden, and it's your daily joy scroll.
First temptation in the history of the world was the temptation to focus on lack and disregard abundance. The tree of knowledge of good and evil was in the middle of the garden. God does not waste words. Humans do that. The fact that it was in the middle of the garden is significant to the story. Why? What does it tell us? That Adam and Eve had to walk past all of their abundance to get to the thing they lacked. No, I don't want any pecans. I don't want any pears. I don't want any apples. I don't want any oranges. I don't want any tangerines. If I can just get to the thing that's missing.
And it looks like you've got a text from God. A clean heart sees clearly, but a corrupted heart distorts everything. Your mind and conscience need my truth. Let me make you whole again. It's what the kids say now when you question something they do. I hear this all the time from my 8th grader, Ezra. Like when I asked him, Ezra, why are you taking that way too full bowl of cereal downstairs instead of just eating it at the dinner table, buddy? He says, trust, Dad, trust. The problem is he hasn't earned that trust because I know I'm going to find a trail of Cocoa Pebbles from the kitchen to his room. Jesus, though, says trust, but he's earned it because he's never let you down. You can believe it. And he even says in the Bible, he says, not just trust, he says, follow me. When you believe in him, when you follow him, when you trust him, you can have a relationship with him that will change your life. You just have to go to peacewithgod.net right now. That's peacewithgod.net. Nearly everybody prays when the plane is going to crash. But most people find it so difficult that they don't make a habit of it any other time. But this is what's true about prayer. And maybe these are the things that have kept you from praying other than when the plane is on fire in your life. You don't have to use big religious words. It doesn't have to be long. You can actually start right now just by saying, hey, God, I want to know what you want to do in my life so I can go your way before life starts to crash. You might believe that you can't stop worrying about your troubles. But God's word says that when you trust in the Lord, you will be blessed. That you shouldn't worry about your life because God will never leave you or forsake you. And you can cast all your cares on him because he cares for you.